Eagles blew a 14-point lead to the Denver Broncos as they finally lose a football game. It's the first time in a while. So we got to, take it with a grain of salt, but there's also a lot of concerns. So I'm going to get into that in this episode. Eagles go to 4-1. If you look just at like the four-quarter score line, 3-3 after the first, 10-3 Eagles lead after the second, 17-3 Eagles lead after the third, and then the Broncos shut the Eagles out in the fourth, 18-0 in that fourth quarter. They win 21-17. Just bad. This is really bad. I don't want to, if you've been listening to previous episodes, I'm trying not to attribute how this feels to the 2023 season, which, we made the Super Bowl in 2022, and then the year after that we lose our coordinators, and things just kind of go south real fast. We bring in, like, Brian Johnson became the offensive play caller, and it was supposed to be Jalen Hurts' guy. It just didn't work out. And now I have to say, and I know it's kind of getting repetitive coming on here talking about the offense coordinator and Kevin Patullo, but it is a concern. It's the same situation. We felt as though that since he was in the wings for a long time, within our system for a while, that he understood the offense, how things work, and it just is not the case so far. So obviously, fans want to see us throw the ball more. We want to get A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith involved, get them going. This is one of those times where we could have ran. We could have ran more. We were up by 14 points, and Saquon Barkley had 6 carries in this game. Just 6 carries. Unbelievable. 6 carries for 30 yards. Now, he had the big touchdown reception, so that could have taken away from some carries and some yards as well. The big, it was a 47-yard touchdown. But still, that's cause for concern. I just don't really understand that. So, very concerning. Jalen Hurts, I thought he played pretty solid. I thought he made some pretty good throws. He finished 23 of 38 completions for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's been kind of a little while since we've seen a stat line like this from him, disregarding the Super Bowl and stuff. But it's I'm a little concerned. I will not lie to you guys. I'm a little concerned. We're getting a little banged up. Landon Dickerson was hurt yet again once in this game. He's already been ruled out for this upcoming game. Jalen Carter has a shoulder injury and a possible foot injury and whatever. I don't know. It's kind of been a shit show, for lack of better words. And, I'm sorry, but that's really what it has been. But the Eagles, they're still 4-1. They're still the number 1 seed in the NFC. If the playoffs were to start today, it would run through Philadelphia. So there's a lot of time to figure things out. But just hiring first-time play callers, it just doesn't work. It just, for an experienced offense like this is just not the go-to. I said it last week. I don't know how many people are listening to this that listened to last week's episode and if the week before or whatever. But, you can think that Jalen is all not good, whatever you want. He stinks, whatever. But you have to really look at, he was elite in 2022. He was elite for the first 10 to 11 weeks of 2023 in that disaster in offense. And he won a Super Bowl last year, Super Bowl MVP. And he was good his rookie year, too. So, regardless of how you think of him, honestly, I think you're an idiot if you think he's bad or not that good. You know that this team is capable of doing more than what they're doing. So that should point you towards the offensive coordinator. Because we're not going to get rid of Jalen Hurts when we just won a Super Bowl. I'm just telling you guys that now. I think you guys know that. But so, all right, regardless, we'll talk about the game a little bit more. Got way too stagnant late. I talked about last week how the bend don't break defense of Vic Fangio is not as effective when our offense is not really competitive, and it wasn't competitive in that fourth quarter. And it just led to the Broncos driving down and scoring points, consecutive points. Courtland Sutton got going. J.K. Dobbins got going. Those have been the 2 main focal points on the offense for the Denver Broncos so far this year. You just can't let that happen. The bend don't break defense works when the offense is putting up competitive offensive drives. And this is what failed us in the fourth quarter of this game. So it's a shame. But other than that, one other thing on Jalen Hurts, I had the stat pulled up. I want to make sure I don't forget. This marks 11 straight starts without throwing an interception. It's tied for the longest streak in the NFL since the 1970 merger, which is pretty unbelievable. Got to give credit there. Now, You can attribute it to not throwing as many pass attempts per game as some other quarterbacks, but still, that's pretty damn good. So, other things, Devontae Smith, he got going in this one, 8 receptions, 114 yards. He had that big 52-yard reception. Oh, that reminds me, I don't know if I haven't talked about this yet. We screwed ourselves in the fourth quarter. Sorry for the quick transition. We screwed ourselves with dumb penalties in that fourth quarter. We had, on that final drive when we were, I think, down by 1 before the Broncos kicked the field goal, I think we had the first down on a bubble screen to Devontae Smith, but it was an illegal motion penalty on Saquon Barkley. The whole offense is out of sync on that play. Him, Devontae Smith, everything. And then, I'm sorry, I've been congested for a little while. Then we completed a deep pass to Smitty around the 20-yard line. And we had an ineligible man downfield call. We screwed ourselves, guys. And then we got the third down stop before the Broncos kicked the field goal, and we have Zach Bond dive in when it's completely unnecessary, and it calls a flag for unnecessary roughness, which that was the correct call. The discipline just has to be better with these flags. We absolutely cost us this game. And you know what? Do I think the final play was pass interference on Dallas Goedert? I think it was. But we put ourselves in this position to where I can't even blame that. I mean, we should have never been in that situation to begin with. So, other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else I have from this game. I know it's a little later on. Again, I've been very busy. I'm going to get back on this grind a little bit. Have a Giants podcast coming out too. Zadarius Smith, he's looked good so far. He recorded a sack in this one. Zach Bond also recorded a sack. But the Eagles, listen, we got to figure this thing out right now. This has been a disappointing. I shouldn't say it's 4-1 the top of the NFC, but this team is so good that you can't let a game slip away like this. Like if we just lost this game, the Broncos outplayed us, I think it would have been fine. But we just should have absolutely not lost this game. So, all right, well, guys, that's going to do it. I'll be out tomorrow with a Eagles-Giants preview, and we'll go from there. So, see you guys. Go Birds.